to our
Hi,
podcast.
good morning.
This is Marielle and Kamla.
Yes, two girls, one mic podcast.
Yes, and
And
today,
today,
of course, another great subject.
yes, yeah, a great topic, an interesting topic, relevant topic, I would say. A topic where a lot of people don't dare to talk about.
Huh.
Um, Shame, guilt involved, maybe doubts even, like, am I the only one? Is it me or is it my mom? Because the topic of today is mother and daughter relationships. How are they? How's yours? And the questions we had for our listeners, and we asked around, were what would you like to change about the relationship you have with your mother or your daughter? How is your relationship right now with your mother? Do your siblings have a different relationship with your mother than you have? Are you closer with your father or with your mother? And is the relationship changing over time? Or did it change over time? So interesting, I would say. And Marielle, you looked some digits up.
Yes, well, I was curious. The
Mhm.
mother-daughter relationship, and especially, of course, focusing on when things are not so close, right? As you
Uh-huh.
said, I believe that there's a lot of shame and guilt involved when the relationship is not that close. So
Uh-huh.
I'm always interested in that, because there's
Yeah.
a lot of relationships between mothers and daughters. They're great. There's, no problems at all. But I
Mm-hmm.
am more interested in, well, what about those people that don't have that close relationship?
Uh-huh.
And why is it that we don't talk about it as
Uh-huh. Yeah, true.
and but I wanted to know how big is that group,
Uh-huh.
because when I looked at at the questions, and
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of going through my head like, okay, who can I ask?
Mm-hmm.
First, let's check my friends, right? Friends and
Uh-huh.
acquaintances, and I just basically went through my phone, and
Uh-huh.
I was just so surprised
Uh-huh.
that a lot of them I had to tell myself, oh yeah, no, no, this is too complicated. Yeah, no, yeah, no,
Oh, really?
yeah, no, no. Yes, a lot. Yeah, quite a few where that I know. For
Uh-huh.
example, it's complicated when there are a few of my friends that are adopted, and that has definitely impacted their relationship with their mother.
Uh-huh.
Um, and then of course there's the company, this, the relationship with your birth mother and a relationship with your adoptive mother. And but the
Uh-huh.
two friends that I have that are very close to me, it's really, really complicated, and so it's also very painful and very private. So I said, no, okay, no. And then
Uh-huh.
I have a few that, for example, there's one whose mom has passed.
Uh-huh.
There is quite quite a few that have a very distant relationship, and then
Mm-hmm.
I started thinking, how big is that group actually? Yeah,
Uh-huh.
am I am I only associating myself with people
Yes.
that have
With that group? Yeah.
which is not true, because I have quite a lot of friends actually who are very close to their mom.
Okay.
But I was curious, so I tried to find some research. Is there any research being done, and do we have a percentage of, like, for example, in a Western world or in
Mm-hmm.
Holland or in the States, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
how big is that group? Now, I spent an hour or something on finding interesting, and of course, the problem is when I try to find something and I read all these articles, I get
Yeah.
lost in the information, and then I
Uh-huh.
get, but the only two numbers, and they're
Uh-huh.
kind of overlap. One said 30 to 40%, and another one was 30%. Now,
Okay.
I'm not going to get into the research and what kind of research. I
Uh-huh.
don't know, but let's just say 30%. That's a big group.
Yeah. No,
So
but
it
let's
should,
say one third. But I
yes.
say it's pretty accurate, I think. When I look
And
around in my environment with the clients, friends, family, I would say, yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. And I also believe that there's for sure a difference in the Caribbean and then let's say Europe, Holland, that's what we know. Um, I think in the Caribbean it's not really accepted by the standards that we made in the Caribbean, to be not okay with your mother.
Right. That's a
So
really good point.
so there's some kind of, yeah, obligation, I would say. And I know that in Holland, I think the mothers think the same, but the children act different.
Explain.
Well, I think in Holland, especially in earlier years, that was also the same case as in the Caribbean, still is right now. When you have to respect your elders, you have to
Right.
visit, you have to take care of them, blah, blah, blah. But over time, it changed. And now it's like, I want to live my life, mom, and I have no time for you, mom. And I'm going to move on, mom, and you figure it out. I don't care. That's what I also hear. And I also hear, let's say, the Caribbean style. No, but we have to take care of our elders, and if they need
Yeah.
help, and those are also existing,
Mhm.
fortunately. But there's also a big group that's not really giving a what about their elders. It's like, yeah, well, they did their job. I'm moving on with my life, and so be it.
You see that also here changing on Curacao?
A bit. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because definitely not as much as in the Netherlands, for example.
For sure.
Yes, because I think sometimes, being raised by a Dutch mom in the Netherlands, I sometimes look at those relationships with admiration, right? When they talk about sons and daughters, talk about their mom and the importance of their life. That's also part of the culture, right? We are living in a very matriarch society. It all revolves around the mom, so that plays part in it, but also just the respect for it, right? And it also has to do with the fact that here in Holland we're just so much more individualistic.
True.
So but
I'm not blaming and I'm not judging, but it's something I see.
Yes.
And I hear, and I'm curious about, okay, but what is it? Why don't we care?
Right. Well, and I mean, because when I talk to people that I interview, and it's all anonymous, obviously, there's some themes that come up. Yeah, where if we take away like the cultural difference and we look at the individual cases, there are some things that you notice, of course, as to why the relationship between mother and daughter is difficult. So for example,
can be complicated.
Yes. And it's complicated because like if you have a complicated or you are in a toxic relationship with a friend, you can choose to end that friendship. With a mom you can't, and then
she stays your mom.
She stays your mom, and then of course added to that this shame or guilt that you feel, or I should have a relationship with her, and I think that makes it all even more complicated. But for one of the themes that I heard, for example, is the mother who two that I noticed with the people that I talk to. Either the mother is too involved, involved in their lives, and a few of them said the biggest problems were in their teenage years and the early 20s, and then later on it became better. Or so too involved, or just totally different. That was one, totally different personalities that constantly clashed, still does constantly clash. And one of the things I heard also a few times, and I recognize this a little bit, every time I go back to my mom, even in my 40s, and another one said, I'm raising 3 kids, and every time I come back to my mother's house, I feel like a child again. Oh, Kamla, we lost you for a bit, but why? What did you? What did you? Do you recognize some of the? Did you hear that in your?
Well, I think as a
Sorry,
grown.
we lost that. Can you repeat that?
Oh, I think for a lot of mothers, it's very hard to see their child, their baby girl, as an adult woman,
Yes.
a mind and a life of her own.
Yes.
That's the thing. Yesterday, 23. No?
Yeah, we lost you.
Oh.
Yesterday?
Oh! Yeah, yesterday. I talked with 23 and living in Holland. And she asked me a question because she's also in personal development and very interested in how people think and why they act the way they act. And she asked me a question. She said, Mom, do you think that the relationship with us, because she also has a brother, changed? And I said, yes, it did. Because you left. And we are not under the same roof. And that's perfectly fine, but it does change. And I also told her that I know, I can even feel it in my gut when something is off with you too. But I have to be open and willing and trusting that you will contact me whenever you need me. But a lot of stuff I don't get to interfere with because you choose otherwise. And that's what letting go means. But I know that a lot of mothers like, oh my God, what's she doing? Oh my God, what she did? And I'm easy in that way, but of course it changes over time. Yeah, and that's a good thing. I remember that when she left, she was 18. And in the beginning, because we are like this, we are very close and we tell each other everything. She said, so my daughter said, Mom, I don't know, but I feel like our relationship is like we're drifting apart. And I said, no, but you moving apart. So it's a different kind of energy. It's a different kind of interaction we have now. And we have to find our way.
Yes.
And it's different. But she felt like I am pulling away. And that was not the case. But she was accustomed to a different kind of relationship. So yes, the daughters also have to grow in I would say, a natural stage of change.
Yes, but that sometimes is the hardest part, to set your boundaries, especially because it's a transition, right?
It is.
When do you become adults? When do you not need your mom anymore? You always probably need your mom to some degree, but in
some way, yes.
But in a different way. Yes. And so both the mom need to get used to that new role, and the daughter. And I think, us talking about this is really good, that we need to talk about this, because we need to prepare as moms. We need to prepare as daughters. We need to prepare. Because it can be really complicated. So,
well, let me say, but I think it was 2 weeks ago. I talked to a mom. She has small children still, but she came from Holland, living here. So she is not raising, or at least she didn't raise her child from the beginning with the idea that they will leave the island. But I did.
Right.
I knew from the beginning that they will leave.
Yes.
So I believe it's a different kind of thinking and a different kind of preparing myself, but also my child, knowing that they will fly out. And I'm not saying that the kids in Holland don't fly out, because they do, but a lot of them stay in Holland. They move to a different city.
Yes.
But it's different than another country. But so that is also, so I told her, and she was, oh my gosh, and now they're both gone, and how are you feeling? I said, I'm perfectly fine. Do you have the empty nest syndrome? I said, no, never had it, and I will never will. But the thing is, I was prepared the day they were born. I was like, okay, I know. I always say children are not mine. We borrow them. And from 0 till 18, I know that they will be in my presence. But after that, I know they will go. So it's, if you live with that and practice that and learn about that and get accustomed to that, then it's a lot easier to letting go.
Yes, because I also talk to or meet women who really embrace motherhood with all their being, right? Those are the mothers. And I'm not judging, because I'm just a different type of person, but I meet them.
Uh-huh.
those that are just born mothers. That's how they describe
Mhm.
themselves, and that's how they identify. I was
Mm.
just in a podcast, a non-mom happy hour, which is pretty funny actually,
Uh-huh.
specifically for non-moms. Um,
Whatever that means.
right, because that means that could be women that don't have children, that don't
Uh-huh.
want children, or that
Uh-huh.
could be women that have children, but
Uh-huh.
not necessarily want to talk about their children all the time.
Mm.
So
Okay.
everybody's welcome. But it was
Yeah.
funny because I was talking to them about that too. Um, Sometimes I meet these women and I look at them and I'm like, what? So you're so not like me. It's okay. It's okay
Uh-huh.
because they have other really great qualities, right?
Uh-huh.
They are, and I can be jealous of those, like very warm and
Mhm.
welcoming and
Okay,
usually
you know what? Uh-huh.
yes.
Uh-huh.
And but this is not me, and I wonder
Mm-hmm.
what it would be like for them if the children leave, and then
Uh-huh.
will they leave really?
Uh-huh.
um
Uh-huh.
because they I can imagine that for them it's really hard to not be a mother in the sense of taking care and nurturing your child on a day-to-day
Well,
basis.
in a way, they lose their identity then.
Right. Because I said it at the podcast also, I don't understand it for me personally.
Uh-huh.
If, for example, even as silly as you make a new Instagram account and then you have to describe yourself in 5 words, right?
Uh-huh.
And I see also on Facebook, you see that your own introduction. And
Uh-huh.
I see women who I would say mother, wife, and then comes other stuff like
Yeah.
painter
Uh-huh.
or
Uh-huh.
lover of Italian food or whatever it is, or
Uh-huh.
their profession.
Yeah.
To me, that's just incredible, and because this is not how I identify.
So,
Well,
but is in those 5 words, would mom be a thing or it doesn't even exist for you?
yes, it would be a thing in
Okay.
5 words, definitely, because it's a
But
big
it's not
part
the
of my
first.
life. But it's not. Well, it's not the first, and and not because I consider myself a good mom, and I have a good
Uh-huh.
relationship with my kids.
Mhm.
But it's not that. It's that I see myself. I'm me first. I am
Mhm.
Marielle
Amen. Yes.
first. Yes,
Yeah.
and I don't lose myself in my children, and I think that is helping me
Mhm.
because I have the same as you. They're
Mhm.
with me. They're with you only 18 years,
Mhm.
20 maybe, I don't know. But
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it. I love the noise in the house, and I love their different personalities, and I love
Mhm.
to see them develop. And
Mhm.
uh, it's crazy, also stressful sometimes.
Uh-huh.
That's my choice.
Mhm.
I'm definitely a mother. Yes,
Mhm.
I am. It's part of my identity, but
Yeah.
it's not the first because I
No.
was there.
And
I
that's
was,
not the only one.
and not the only one. And it's
Uh-huh.
not. If somebody would ask me, how do you identify? What's your first? Then it would be
Mhm.
not be Marielle. I
Mhm.
am a woman. I
Mhm.
am
Yeah.
an entrepreneur now. I am a
Right.
coach, but I'm definitely also a mother.
Yeah.
And
I totally get you. You know how identify with you? Um, Now we have phones, but back in the day, we had our wallets, and then all the moms I knew had the pictures of their children.
yes,
I never had that.
no, me neither.
No, no.
I felt
But
bad
that's
sometimes.
yes, like
Yes.
oh yeah, this is right. I don't have it because people ask. They say, oh no, I'm not that kind of mom. I'm sorry.
Well, and again, not judging mothers
No, not at
who,
all. Not at all. You have to do what suits you. But
yes,
that's not who I am as a mom. And I am a mom. I mean, I am a mom, but I am also Kamla for sure. Yes.
yes, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, totally true. How is
totally.
your relationship with your mother?
Well, I have a good, I would describe it as a good relationship,
Mhm.
but definitely not. So if I compare it to some of my friends'
Mhm.
relationship, it's not super, super close,
Mhm.
but that's okay. I mean, it's okay for me.
Yeah.
I know that my mom would probably want, because there's so much distance between us,
Uh-huh.
and I've
Yeah.
I've lived in
Yeah.
different countries, different places. So I'm
Well,
sure
that
she,
also plays a part. Yes. Yeah.
yes, of
Mhm.
course. I'm sure she would have liked more contact, but
Mhm.
to me, this is okay. You know,
Mhm.
I have great admiration for my mother, how
Mhm.
she raised us. She was a single mother. She worked really hard. She has,
Uh-huh.
but we are definitely, we have different personalities. And
Mhm.
during the teenage years, we clashed a lot, a
Mhm.
lot, a lot, a
But
lot.
what if she gets sick? Let's
Oh,
forbid it, but you never
yeah.
know what can happen. What will happen? But does you have one brother
I have one brother with my, yeah, with
and
the
he lives
same mom.
in Holland as well?
He lives in Holland,
Okay.
yes.
But do you discuss those kind of things? Like, okay, what are we gonna do with mom if she gets ill or she's not able to take care of herself anymore?
Well, actually, we don't, which is stupid,
Mm-hmm.
but because I think you do need to be prepared. But the thing is, my
Mm-hmm.
mother herself
Uh-huh.
prepares, right? So my
Okay.
mother herself talks about this and
Okay.
um, is making arrangements because she, I mean, her, this is her life. Her kids are away. So my brother is in Holland, but he lives on the other side of the country.
Uh-huh.
I live in Curacao.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my mother is still very healthy and she's
Mm-hmm.
strong, but she has lost quite a few good friends,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and that makes you think, right?
Yeah.
And so she is pretty actively thinking about, okay, what am I going to do if, for example, I get sick, I need more care. She looked at
But she's
different
not
options.
putting it on you.
She's not. She is
Okay.
not.
Okay.
No.
Well, good for
And
her. Because I
yes,
also know a lot of mothers who will put it on their daughter's children.
yes, and that can be complicated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because what if you don't want to or cannot handle it or don't have the money or the space or the whatever? What is gonna happen then?
That's true. So, well,
Mm-hmm.
what about your mom?
Mm-hmm. My mom, I think I have the same relationship as you described. I am adopted, and because of that, I believe that my relationship with my mother was always a little tricky. Always like, because I knew I had a biological mother, and it sounds weird, but of course you have. But I was adopted from birth, so I don't know my
Mhm.
biological mother. But in my mind, I had a story that I have a mom already. So why in the do I need you?
Wow, that must be hard for your mom. Must
For
have been.
sure, for
Yeah.
sure. Yes, yeah. So I was, yeah, always a little distant to her. And she's a mom, like we discussed earlier. She's a mom who wants to get involved. For me, too much. And I see it with my other sister. There she is very much involved, and I'm always like, I don't want that kind of relationship. She has a key of my sister's home. When I lived in Holland, she asked me, but we're not gonna do that. I have very strict boundaries for her because if I don't have them, I know she wants to take over my life, and I don't want that.
Wow.
Yeah, I
That
don't
is
want that. So,
right.
but she's a lovely woman, and I admire her strength and her character and the way she raised four children. She worked from an early day on. She is in a marriage for, I don't know, 45, 50 years now. So I admire her, but I don't really feel what I hope and believe my children feel for me.
Right. Well, so the question is, what are you going to do differently than? Well, yes, because there's definitely something that I'm aware of that I'm trying to do different than
Mm-hmm.
my mom,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I'm hoping to come in a place right now where I'm less judgmental, right? Because this is the mom
True.
and daughter thing.
Yeah.
It's so connected to you, to your soul, to all these
Mhm.
difficult, complex
Like she
feelings.
knows you in and out. That's what a mom does.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So
And one
she
of the
knows your
things,
strengths and your weaknesses, and that
yes,
also is not always nice.
true. That is true.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that I have not always been easy to raise, and
Hmm.
still as an adult, right?
Hmm.
It's very defensive. She can be very defensive. We both our personalities clash sometimes. But one of the things that I found difficult is that she's one of those mothers who wants to prevent the kids from making mistakes. And I really believe, and and listen, my oldest one is 18. I'm coming into that now, yeah? So who knows? Maybe my mom in a few years will say, well, wait a minute, wait a minute, didn't you say? Because I think that's difficult. I realize it's difficult now that I am a mother myself, right? Because I think the things that what she did was trying to prevent. So a lot of lecturing and a lot of not control, or, you know, not letting us make our own mistakes and then fixing it, right? Of course, it came from out of love, and because she is a very organized person, very has everything in order, the way, you know, very how to call it, reliable. She's very reliable. She has everything in order. Nothing can go wrong. That's my image of her, right? She's very, and I am a lot more chaotic and spontaneous, and but I think that's a big one. That was a big one for me, right? I definitely had, when I came home, like felt like a child again, and always telling me, this is how you should do it, this is how you should, this is what you should do, you should do this. And that certainly at certain times in our lives, that would like really make me like, and then I would be too sensitive
Back
about
off,
it.
lady.
Yes, too sensitive, reacting too aggressive, and then she would be hurt, and then you know that, and that. But at least I'm aware of, I hope I don't do that. I hope I can let them make their own mistakes, even though it's hard, because you don't want to.
Of course, yeah, just standing by and knowing what is going to happen. But hey, it's up to you now. Yeah.
Yes, yes, and I think it's a big one. It's a feeling like a child, and then I think what you did is really good, setting the boundaries, right?
Yeah.
Because then, but that's difficult to do, but you just have to do it. That's the best way. I think I told you also, I have a very good friend, one of my best friends, who has a very, very, also raised by her mom, and it wasn't always easy, and she's the sweetest lady, but I admired her, the way she, like you, set her boundaries. Like, for example, if she felt like the mom was either too involved or too, but she just said, no, mom, no, I'm not going to do it. No, that's not. And I would always feel so guilty, but it's so much better.
It's so much easier eventually. And then all the, toxic is a heavy word, but you know what I mean, I hope. It gets easier along the way. And when she knows what she can do and cannot do, and I know what I can do and cannot do, it makes the relationships a lot easier. And of course, if I am going to ask her, would you like to be more involved, more la 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 la, I guess she will say yes. But hey, I choose otherwise.
Yes.
And that you have to respect. And that's what I also do with my children. Of course I want to know more, but they don't let me. Well, they don't let me, and I have to respect that.
Yes. Yeah. So I guess it's like what they say in Dutch, right? What is it again? Zachte heelmeesters, stinkende wonden of so. So if it's so much better to start practicing setting your boundaries.
Yeah, it's so important. Yesterday I made a video and I said, if you don't acknowledge your need will get bigger and bigger and bigger. So what do you need? And if you need more distance, more privacy, more whatever, speak it out. Ask for what you need. But a lot of people are afraid of that.
Well, yes, because it's scary. It makes you feel like, if we talk about the mother-daughter relationship, it's scary. It makes you feel guilty. You don't want to hurt their feelings. You're afraid that they're going to think you don't love them. All those complicated things that come. But if you do it now and you're brave enough, I wasn't. I was hey, hello. I learned from my mistakes,
Yeah.
because I've seen the difference between me and my best friends, right? That creates. So what I did was just kept it in, and then it festers, and then
But it grows. Yes.
grows and grows and grows, and then you become, it can
An
explode.
explosion.
Yeah,
Yes.
or you become too defensive, or you take distance,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, so true, so true.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to wrap it up because we both have an appointment.
yes,
What I want to say is, because of this topic, and we know because I have a lot of clients, women who deal with their mother relation issues, and we decided to have a drama detox weekend for mothers and daughters.
yes,
We will go to a beautiful villa on the other part of the island with 3 sets of mothers and daughters, and we will have a very intense, healing, freeing retreat weekend where we can create a better where you can create, and we will assist in that, a better relationship with your mother and your daughter, because I believe that the love is always there.
yes,
Most of the time it's buried under a lot of not spoken truths.
yes, yes.
And we want to get all those truths out of the way and get back to the love.
Yes, and we're very excited about it. We've talked about it many, many times. So we consciously made a decision to organize a retreat, not just, not just like a mother-daughter, let's just get pampered.
Let's get our nails done. No.
No, specifically for those mothers and daughters that could use some guidance and some help to get closer, to clear out some of the garbage, unspoken feelings, to come closer, it does.
Even if that means that you have to step more away of each other.
Exactly.
So we're not pretending that your relationship is going to be,
No.
It doesn't have to be that way. It has to suit both of you.
Right. Just to find a way where both of you are happy, because
and
it's better.
Okay with what it is.
Yes, exactly. So that was our goal. I mean, we set the goal high. We take the challenge, and it's going to be, but it's going to be in a beautiful surroundings.
For sure, for sure.
And
it's really, it's you time, it's her time, and it's together time. And really, we're going to give you tools. We're going to give you skills, better communication skills, to have a better relationship with yourself, and therefore also with your mother or your daughter. And we believe in that relationship.
And this time we chose the age of the daughters to be 25 and up.
Yeah.
Later on, we might go to younger age groups, but for this first one, it's going to be adult daughter and mothers.
Yeah. So if you're interested, or you say, oh, I need this, I want this, please contact us. You can mail us splendidcoaching@gmail.com.
Or at hello@keepingitrealme.com.
Yes, and we will love to welcome you on this retreat.
And the retreat is...
Let us know in the comments, how is your relationship with your mother? And what would you like to change? How can you change the relationship? I'm really curious.
Please tell us, please tell us. And by the way, did you say the dates? It was October 20...
It's the end of October.
25th, 26th, 27th, I think. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So it's the end of October. So be spontaneous. Call your mom and connect with us.
You deserve a good relationship.
That's a perfect ending to this podcast.
Okay.
Okay.
Till next time. Bye-bye.